There are great football clubs. There are historic football clubs. And then there's Boca Juniors, a club born from immigrants, built in a working-class neighborhood, powered by generations of passionate supporters, a club whose stadium literally shakes beneath the feet of its fans. From the colorful streets of La Boca to the biggest stages in world football, Boca Juniors has become more than a team. It has become a symbol of identity, pride, and belonging for millions of people. This is the story of Boca Juniors, the club that shakes Argentina. Before we dive into the story, if you enjoy sports history and want to learn more about the teams that shape the games we love, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments which franchise you want to see featured next. Now, let's step inside the history of Boca Juniors. When people think of Argentine football, one name almost always comes to mind: Boca Juniors. The club's blue and gold colors are recognized across the globe. Its supporters are among the most passionate in sports. Its stadium is one of the most intimidating venues in football, and its history is filled with legendary players, unforgettable victories, and moments that helped define the sport in South America. But before the trophies, before the packed stadiums, and before the worldwide fame, Boca Juniors was simply the dream of a group of young immigrants living in one of Buenos Aires' most humble neighborhoods. That dream would eventually become one of the biggest football clubs on earth. The story begins on April 3, 1905. In the working-class neighborhood of La Boca in Buenos Aires, a group of young Italian immigrants came together with a simple idea. They wanted to form a football club. At the time, football was rapidly growing throughout Argentina. Immigrant communities from across Europe were helping spread the sport, and local clubs were appearing all over the country. The young founders of Boca Juniors wanted a team that represented their neighborhood and their people. They named the club Boca Juniors. The Boca came from the neighborhood itself, while Juniors was chosen because English words were fashionable in football at the time. From the very beginning, Boca represented the working class, the docks, the laborers, the immigrants, the families trying to build a better future. That identity would remain central to the club for more than a century. One of the most famous stories in football history also emerged during Boca's early years. Originally, the club experimented with different uniform colors. Unable to settle on a permanent design, club officials decided they would adopt the colors of the next ship to enter the harbor. That ship happened to be Swedish. Its flag was blue and yellow. More than a century later, Boca Juniors still proudly wears those colors. As Boca grew in popularity, the club needed a permanent home. The answer would become one of the most iconic stadiums in sports, La Bombonera. Officially known as Estadio Alberto J. Armando, the stadium opened in 1940 and quickly became the heart of Boca Juniors. Its unusual design was created because of limited space in the neighborhood. Instead of a traditional oval stadium, one side was built almost vertically. The result was unlike anything else in football. Fans packed close to the field. Noise echoed through the concrete structure. The atmosphere became overwhelming for visiting teams. Over time, supporters began calling the stadium La Bombonera, meaning the chocolate box, because of its distinctive shape. Today, it remains one of the most famous football stadiums in the world. Players, coaches, and journalists from every continent have spoken about the experience of entering La Bombonera on match day. The singing never stops. The banners cover entire sections. The energy feels constant. And when Boca scores, many supporters swear they can actually feel the stadium move beneath them. Whether literally or figuratively, one thing is certain. There are few places in sports that match the atmosphere of La Bombonera. Every great sports franchise has a rival. For Boca Juniors, that rival is River Plate. Together, the two clubs participate in what many consider the greatest rivalry in world football, the Superclásico. Interestingly, both clubs originally came from the same neighborhood, La Boca. But as time passed, River Plate moved to a wealthier area of Buenos Aires. This helped create the social divide that would define the rivalry. Boca became associated with working-class supporters. River became associated with wealthier sectors of society. Whether entirely fair or not, those identities became deeply rooted in Argentine football culture. The result was a rivalry unlike any other. Every match felt bigger than football. Families were divided. Friendships were tested. Entire cities seemed to stop and watch. For over a century, Boca and River have battled for championships, bragging rights, and football supremacy. The rivalry reached perhaps its most dramatic chapter in 2018. For the first time ever, Boca Juniors and River Plate met in the final of the Copa Libertadores, South America's most prestigious club competition. The stakes could not have been higher. After a series of extraordinary events, the second leg was moved to Spain due to security concerns. River ultimately won the title, but the final demonstrated something important. the Boca River rivalry had grown far beyond Argentina. The entire football world was watching. Every great club has legendary players. Boca Juniors has many, but one stands above all the rest: Diego Maradona. For millions of football fans, Maradona is not simply one of the greatest players ever. He is football itself. In 1981, Maradona fulfilled a childhood dream by joining Boca Juniors. The move instantly electrified Argentine football. Fans packed stadiums to watch him play. Media coverage exploded. Expectations reached incredible heights. Maradona delivered. His brilliance helped Boca capture the Argentine League title during his first season with the club. Soon afterward, he departed for Europe, where he would become one of the most famous athletes in history. Yet his connection to Boca never disappeared. Throughout his life, Maradona proudly identified himself as a Boca supporter. Even after achieving worldwide fame, he remained closely tied to the club. For Boca fans, Maradona represented more than talent. He represented their spirit, their passion, their identity. To this day, his image remains visible throughout La Bombonera and across the city of Buenos Aires. While Boca had enjoyed domestic success for decades, the club's greatest period of international dominance arrived at the turn of the millennium. Leading the charge was legendary manager Carlos Bianchi. Under Bianchi, Boca became one of the most feared teams in world football. The club won multiple Copa Libertadores titles. Star players emerged throughout the squad, and Boca developed a reputation for thriving under pressure. The success extended beyond South America. In 2000, Boca faced European powerhouse Real Madrid in the Intercontinental Cup. Many expected the Spanish giants to win comfortably. Instead, Boca stunned the football world. Led by Martín Palermo, Boca defeated Real Madrid 2-1 and claimed the title. 3 years later, Boca did it again, this time against Italian giant AC Milan. After a dramatic penalty shootout, Boca once again stood atop world football. These victories elevated the club's reputation internationally. Boca was no longer simply a South American giant. It had become a global football powerhouse. Throughout its history, Boca Juniors has been home to countless stars. Players like Juan Román Riquelme became symbols of elegance, creativity, and leadership. Riquelme's vision and passing ability made him one of the greatest midfielders in South American football history. His connection with supporters remained so strong that he later returned to help lead the club off the field. Other legends include Martín Palermo, Boca's all-time leading scorer; Carlos Tevez, who rose from humble beginnings to become one of Argentina's most beloved footballers; and numerous international stars who helped build the club's reputation across generations. Each era produced new heroes. Each generation found new reasons to believe. And through it all, Boca's identity remained remarkably consistent: passion, pride, and an unwavering connection between club and supporter. Today, Boca Juniors remains one of the most influential clubs in world football. The club continues to compete near the top of Argentine football. La Bombonera remains one of the sport's most iconic venues. Young talent continues to emerge through the club's development system, and millions of supporters continue to follow Boca from every corner of the globe. Few clubs can match Boca's combination of history, culture, success, and fan support. While football constantly evolves, some things never change: the blue and gold colors, the songs from the terraces, the pride of La Boca, and the belief that Boca Juniors represents something larger than the game itself. Many clubs measure greatness through trophies alone. Boca Juniors certainly has plenty of those: league titles, continental championships, world-renowned players, historic victories. But Boca's true legacy cannot be measured only in silverware. Its story is the story of immigrants seeking opportunity, of a neighborhood finding its voice, of generations of supporters passing their passion from parent to child. It is the story of a football club that became a cultural institution. More than 120 years after its founding, Boca Juniors remains one of the most recognizable and influential clubs on earth. Not because of where it started, but because it never forgot where it came from. And that is why Boca Juniors remains the club that shakes Argentina. If you enjoyed this episode of Inside the Franchise, be sure to check out our previous episode covering the Detroit Pistons and their incredible journey from the Bad Boys era to basketball rebirth. Thank you for watching another episode of Inside the Franchise. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow sports fans. Tell me in the comments, where does the Boca Juniors and River Plate rivalry rank on your list? Until next time, remember, every franchise has a story, and we're here to tell it.